Hey everybody, good Saturday afternoon. We're about 24 hours away from kickoff and we have a little bit of extra news. So, thought I'd go ahead and put together a quick video to talk about it because even if this stuff is only a little relevant, it's not irrelevant. So, first of all, we have some practice squad elevations, and this is interesting for a couple reasons. Bob Condotta on Twitter reports that the Seahawks have elevated Robert Nkemdiche and Cody Thompson from the practice squad for tomorrow's game against the Vikings. So, couple thoughts here, and I'm going to start with Nkemdiche. First of all, academically, this is the last time we can elevate Nkemdiche this season. Bob Condotta explains in this later tweet that this is Nkemdiche's second elevation, so after this, he has to go on the 53-man roster to play. As a practice squatter, you are only allowed 2 elevations over the course of the season. So this is his second game. If we want to play him in a future game, then he has to be signed to the 53-man, which means a lot more money for him. Not that that would be a problem for this team, but it would mean one less player at some other area on the team that we could carry. So it's very interesting that we would decide to use his second elevation in the third game of the season. And one thing that really kind of occurs to me is holy moly, did LJ Collier fall out of favor, because Brian Monet's not even on the injury report right now. He is 100% a go for tomorrow's game, supposedly. So it's not that we're missing Monet. We're not missing Poona Ford. We're not missing Al Woods. I know Poona Ford and Brian Monet may not be 100%, but they're playing. And they didn't show up on the end of week injury report at all. So, unless Benson Mayowa doesn't play tomorrow, Collier is almost certainly going to be inactive again. And Nkemdiche is going to be taking what would have been his role as the, I guess you would say, fourth defensive tackle. So, maybe we need to send Collier down to the practice squad and just let Nkemdiche take his spot for the whole rest of the season. But what a sad little fall from grace this has turned into. And I'm a little disappointed because I thought Collier was going to have a decent season this year. I really did. So look for Collier to be inactive tomorrow. And if he is, then, I mean, I understand that this is a relatively small deal over the course of the season, but us having to use player's second practice squad elevation this early in the season is, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that Collier's, I guess I can only call it ineptitude, is forcing us to do it. And at this point, I kind of want the Collier era to be over and done with, because if he cannot earn the trust of being even the fourth defensive tackle, then I don't know what to say anymore. I really thought he was slowly but surely starting to turn the corner last year, but this team cannot wait to get him off the field, it would seem. So, yeah, Nkemdiche is going to be our fourth defensive tackle tomorrow behind Poona, Woods, and Monet. So, yeah, that's how bad Collier looks in the eyes of this coaching staff right now. Now, Cody Thompson, that's also pretty interesting to me as well, because I thought we were going to elevate a receiver from the PS because Eskridge is out. And if you want to get technical, Swain showed up on the injury report and DK may not be completely 100%. So I knew we were going to elevate a receiver, or I was pretty sure. But Cade Johnson is your... He's not a blue chipper, obviously, but he's the closest thing to a blue chipper that you got out of UDFA. He probably has the most talent of any UDFA you got. So I really thought he was going to be first man up because his upside is just higher than everyone else on the practice squad. And if not him, I liked Aaron Fuller. I still like Aaron Fuller. I feel like he has a future in the NFL if things break his way. So for Cody Thompson to be the first man up off the practice squad at receiver, I find that interesting. Not necessarily bad. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is awful, this is a terrible choice, but I'm very interested to see what he's able to add, if anything, to this offense, because Cody Thompson was one of the guys who was talked up a decent amount in the training camp, because apparently he had a good rapport with Wilson and was making plays in at the VMAC. So definitely interested to see if that goes anywhere. And also, I think one big aspect of that is, as Bob Condotta says, I'd also assume he'll play a lot on special teams. Cade Johnson doesn't really add a lot of value on special teams, I don't think, and Aaron Fuller might not either. Maybe they feel like Cody Thompson is their best special teamer on the PS at receiver, so that could be the explanation, but I'm interested to see if he gets involved in the offense at all. Okay, so that's it for the Seahawks stuff, but I do want to point out one more thing. Chris Thomason on Twitter pointed out that a little bit ago, earlier today, the Vikings signed running back Amir Abdullah to the active roster. I think he was on their practice squad, but I'm not 100% sure. But the relevant point here is that the Vikings are kind of hedging their bets on whether or not Dalvin Cook can play. So they seem to be saying they think he's going to play. They seem to be indicating he's at least going to give it a go at the start of the game tomorrow. But they are also very much prepared for the contingency of him not being out there. So they're not, they don't seem very confident that he's going to go. And there's a very good chance that you're going up against Alexander Madison and Amir Abdullah all day, and Cook either doesn't play, or maybe he takes a shot and ends up leaving the game early. Well, it's football. It's a violent game, and I think it's pretty clear he's nowhere near 100%. He might not even be 80%. And as we've seen with Saquon Barkley so far this season, at a certain point as a running back, you're just a detriment to your team if you're out there, no matter how talented you are at 100%. So I noticed this, and it leads me to believe that Dalvin Cook will either not play or play relatively little. Now, obviously, it makes sense to be cautious. The Vikings could be really confident in Cook and still want to protect themselves against something that has a chance of happening, but I read this as an indicator that Dalvin Cook is either going to play relatively little or not play tomorrow. But time will tell. That's really all there is to this one. Not huge news, but reading the tea leaves of these practice squad decisions that these teams have made definitely helps clue in on what you might be getting on game day. So, to me, the main thing that I'm taking away from this Nkemdiche call-up is we're done with LJ Collier. He's had his chance, and we're just trying to move on now. And I'm also very interested to see what Cody Thompson can bring to the table, if anything, on Sunday, because I really like our practice squad receivers, and Cody Thompson is probably the guy I'm the least high on, but maybe there's something there we haven't seen yet. All right, see you guys later tonight for the Huskies stream. Go Hawks, and later today bow down to Washington. See y'all later.